I feel really bad because when I wrote the book, and Mr. Grybos can he can give you the citation if you want to buy it, yeah, for sure. Not that you do. Um, but when I wrote it, we did a lot of press, and people were always asking, "Who's your favorite superhero?" And I always felt like this obligation to respond. But I don't really have a favorite anything. I'm weird that way. But when I grew up, my favorite comic book to read was X-Men. So my answer would be not a hero, but like a team or a universe. Like it is X-Men. And I know there's a new Disney Plus thing that I haven't started yet, X-Men 97, that I need to catch up on. But so it would be X-Men. And I think in many ways I didn't realize it, but when I was reading X-Men as a kid, it was about diversity. It was about multiculturalism. It was addressing issues in what seems like a throwaway form, right? Comic books, we all know, are not serious art. They're for kids, et cetera, et cetera. But I think the reading X-Men got me thinking about issues like that in a way that I wouldn't have otherwise. And it's why it's really important whenever you're consuming pop culture that you think about those underlying messages, right? Pop culture is, I assure you, always trying to sell you something, and not just shirts and shoes and Big Macs. It's selling you values, it's selling you worldviews, it's teaching you how to think about the world. And it's really easy to become a victim of that, right? So one of the things I think post 45 history is great for teaching is we can deal with a lot of pop culture kinds of materials and start building skills about how do we see through what they're doing to make them meaningful for ourselves. So yeah, in terms of the superhero movies, I think Iron Man 3 is way underrated, in part because it really tries to address, I think, issues of race and the war on terror. No, am I wrong? Are you shaking your head? So what do I have wrong about Iron Man 3?
You've opened up two more questions for me, so
I just don't like Iron Man 3. But I know, I get what you're saying.
I think Iron Man 3, what it does with the Mandarin in thinking about race and the war on terror, thinking about what Miss Younger was saying earlier, in terms of the way that we conflate all of these people together as the enemy once we racialize them. Iron Man 3 tries to wrestle with that a little bit. It's also a film that makes the argument that we create our own enemies. That's kind of the voiceover that starts the film. And I think it's trying to get us to ask questions about the war on terror. Now it's a Marvel movie, so it ultimately can't get to where it needs to get, but it at least tries. But the Captain America trilogy is also really, really good. Winter Soldier is just a good movie, not a good superhero movie.